Morning, all you crazy gardening extremists. Today I'm gonna take back my yard and make another garden again. That's a good abbreviation. So let's put on our red hats and see what we got going on. And I'll tell you, there's a few guys I like to watch, like David the Good. He's in Alabama now, but he was out of Florida. He wrote gardening books. He's had nurseries. He lived in the Caribbean, but he teaches a lot of cheap, organic ways to grow your things. I like to follow him, and I learned a lot from him and applied it to our desert region because they're another hot climate like it was in Florida. So some of the things that worked for him are working for me. Another one in Florida was Pecaneris Green Dreams. Matter of fact, lemon Cattleya guavas actually got new growth on them. I have 5 of those planted. I got those from him at his nursery, along with those Turk's Cap hibiscus I planted in the front. But David the Good always ends his saying is, "May your thumbs always be green." Well, I don't have a green thumb. People say I have a green thumb, but if that was true, everything I would plant would live, right? But I've killed a lot of things trying to find out what works in my climate, and everybody has to do the same in their climate. What works in their yard, what works in their climate, their methods. Of course, I use God's methods. Organic. It's a permaculture, back to Eden method with the wood chips. Lots of diversity. You see my garlic chives right now, they're blooming. The bees are happy, hopping out on all those flowers, pollinating. I have a few things I planted in here. Hopefully they'll do okay. These look like they have a deficiency in the soil. I'm gonna have to add some fertilizer to those sweet peppers. But I just planted some yard-long beans and Armenian cucumber seeds over there to go up that fence, so I can have those hopefully in November before it gets cold in December. Because here we don't start getting cold until December. Usually right around the 7th of December is when it starts getting cold here. So we got a couple more months of gardening. So I'm going to start my fall gardens. I already started tearing apart my raised beds. I pulled out a couple onions that were there, and there's some peppers that look like they started from seed, and I don't remember what I put there, so I'm gonna allow those to keep growing, but everything else on the sides I'm gonna put some other seeds down for fall. Of course, I got to add a lot more to that one because all those wood chips I put in there, it's probably about a foot of wood chips and logs on the bottom, and all the top was the garden soil for about 6 inches. So all that, look at all the mycorrhiza fungi in there. This is all dried up. I need to add the watering system here because those kale are done. I'm gonna take everything out of there and rebuild that and add my watering system. I just have the 1/2-inch tubing with the jet emitters there. You see I cleaned up that elderberry. Let that grow a little bit, and then I'll cut it back in January, almost all the way to the ground, let it come back again. Same way with that elderberry. Look at those pear trees. Those things are pushing, what, 12 feet now, maybe 13 feet. Nice. Mulberries are giving me a nice canopy. That hen house is nice and shaded and cool in there, so they can go in there and lay their eggs and sleep at night, be protected. Pineapple guava, it's been growing a lot. Cotton leaves are burnt to a crisp for the most part, but it's got some new growth right there. Of course, it's going to be heading into fall now, so that's not going to be an issue because it did get a lot taller. But this thing, I don't want to get too tall in here. I'm going to keep it short, so I'm going to be topping that probably about 15 feet. Keep the pecan short. Jujubes got a lot of growth on it. This is my Russian red Slavovsky. It's just now getting me pomegranates, and so in November hopefully those will be ready, because I think it's a late bloomer. My other pomegranate, they usually flower in the spring and they hang on to those pomegranates all year long, but these are a late bloomer, but they're actually get ripe in about November, so, and they're actually my favorite one. But besides these garlic chives, I'll show you what other herbs I have around my garden, because it is a permaculture, and so I have other herbs growing up around here that I like to harvest from. You got the rosemary right there. There's the oregano, and I see I got some oregano seeds right here, so I can throw those and see if they sprout anywhere else. And then of course I got the Genovese basil and Thai basil, which is flowering. The bees are humming around that. I even seen my goji berry was flowering. Haven't had any goji berries yet. I might have some this fall. We'll see. I haven't really fertilized it over here either. Mango tree's looking beautiful though. Starting to get tall. There's that strawberry guava I planted a couple years ago. Jaboticaba. Trimmed up that trunk. I'm hoping that next year I can see some flowers on that trunk. Give me those Brazilian grapes. It's got a lot of new growth. Looking healthy. Let's see, look at that. Soil. I got the sugar cane that after I juiced it, I threw that down there. I got wood chips. Everything I trimmed off the Jaboticaba, the mango. That all goes right back to feed the soil over time. No chemical fertilizers. The only fertilizers I use, if you've seen my other ones in the past, besides the diluted urine with rainwater, I'll also take my chicken manure, make a manure tea out of that, and I add it to my 5-gallon bucket of rainwater or even tap water. I just add a cup of that, and that'll fertilize my plants. I need to put a cover on that because the mosquitoes are wanting to breed in there. And over here in the pond area, these koi are getting bigger. When I first got those were only 3 inches long. Now they're about 6. Catfish are getting pretty big too. Almost time to eat a couple of those. But over in the pond area, papaya's still looking good even after all that heat. Vetiver grass, sweet potatoes. I keep cutting this back and just throwing all the leftover vines and the chicken around, but I also feed my tortoise the sweet potato vines. They love it. Matter of fact, the other day I put some in there, and you've ever seen a turtle run to get its food? It's hilarious. They don't run fast, but it was just funny how I've never seen a turtle move so fast until I threw these in there. He loves them. Got the Roselle hibiscus. Been harvesting some watermelon. I think that's the Arizona King. I got another one ready to harvest right there. Better grab that one. And if you guys don't know what this is the purslane I allow to grow here because it's high in omega-3 fatty acids. I come out here and eat it. You can add it to your salads. Back there you see those ferns. Those are the asparagus ferns, because you let those go to fern all summer long. After you harvest what you want in the spring, you allow it to grow up into fern, and so that it takes all that sunlight all summer long down into the roots. All that chlorophyll will energize that root system so you get some nice healthy asparagus shoots in the spring. And I'm starting to harvest these long gons. When they start turning brown like this, that's when they're ready. There's the fruit. Of course, they call these the Chinese dragon eye. Why do they call it dragon eye? Bite off that flesh. You see that black seed? Looks like a dragon's eye. Tasty tropical fruit. My dragon fruit trellis. I'm starting to grow through that. I need to put some that are vining out over there to put them up into the trellis. Back there, some of you people might know that as a house plant, but that's Monstera delicioso. And in the tropics and in Florida, you get those to fruit. If it flowers, after 12 months, that flower will turn into a very delicious fruit, which is why they get its name Monstera delicioso. So I'm gonna just keep adding organic matter and see if I can get my Monstera and those dragon fruit to actually flower and fruit, and that would be a big win. But I'm gonna need to add a lot of compost in the soil this next year. Star fruit, that was my baby one. It's getting bigger. It's already hitting 7 feet. It'd be nice to see some star fruit pretty soon. I got that one and the one on the chicken run. Over here, this is a surprise for me. I got these velvet bean seeds I planted, and they just like to take off vining up into my fig tree. I keep cutting back those vines because they want to vine everywhere. Hasn't flowered and fruited yet, so as the weather starts getting a little bit cooler, I think it'll start flowering. I like a lot of stuff here that vines. As soon as you get into fall, it all flowers and fruits. Try those. I heard those are good for men because it increases your testosterone. Over here in my little Hawaiian section, I got the lychee tree. Got a lot of new growth. And then the plumeria. Plumeria's got some flowers. That thing is getting monstrous over here. It loves that spot. Okay, here's my new plan. After all these years, I decided my best compost comes out of my chicken run, because all I do is throw organic matter over there and food scraps, and chickens go through it. I fill it with wood chips, and chickens will go through that and they'll poop and dig it, and it gets decomposed with all the moisture. And so everything under there is pretty much very rich compost. All the soil here. And the difference between what was here before and what I have now is night and day. I used to have Arizona dirt. Now I have rich, loamy compost as my soil, because all I do is add organic matter that decomposes over time, and the chickens are my laborers. They'll aerate that soil by digging it, moving it around, eating all the bugs out of it. But where there are bugs and worms, it'll be, as it decomposes, the worms will help the decomposition of that and turn into worm castings and frass. So I have back to nature method, or back to Eden, which is a natural method, by just throwing everything on top of the soil and letting the animals do all your labor, and all you get is rich soil out of it. All I gotta do is add that and water, and you get something like this. So I just go back to the old method. No chemical fertilizers, no big ag. Hope those 87,000 armed IRS agents don't start coming to our urban farms and wanting to tax us on our growing our own food. Communists, stay out of our yards. So let us be. We're just trying to do things the way we should and not rely on government to feed us, right? Yeah, I cleaned up my banana a little bit now that that high heat's going to be pretty much gone. Cleaned all that dead growth out of there, and hopefully these two right here, these two big older ones, I think I might add some chicken manure compost tea. Get them to flower. They need to flower now. Otherwise I might have a problem I had last year. Flowered in late October and I had bananas in January that were dead because it was too cold. I need to have these bananas flowering in the spring or summer. Apple trees are looking better after I trimmed back all that funky growth, and I did a foliar feed and amended the soil organically. Looking better. My lemon's looking a little bit better. I'm going to have to do another foliar feed. Get that lemon tree to put out some really green growth. I don't know what it is right around this soil area right around here. I really got to work on amending that soil. It just takes time. I don't believe in quick fixes. I want long-term sustainability organically. Got some pumpkin vines and corn starting to grow out. A little watermelon there. There's some more Thai basil. My Chinese Rangoon creeper taking over that area of the fence, which is my plan when I planted that last year. So hopefully this fall we'll see a showcase of red flowers on that. That would be nice. Look at the butterflies. Natal plum, getting a lot of new growth. It's spreading out. Hopefully next year I can see some fruit off of that. It's not just for landscape. It has edible fruit. There's something else I trimmed back. It's got all the new growth. That's my Pluot, Flavor Rosa Pluot. I got from the Urban Farm Project, along with my grapevines and my apricot. And I got two more things coming from them in 2 weeks, a tangerine and a Miwa kumquat. Add some really good citrus to my food forest system. My garden, sweet almond bush flowering again. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully you get something out of what I'm doing. If you like this, give it a like, share, subscribe, and may your thumbs always be green like David the Good always says.